and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
That's right. The most dangerous, risky, career-threatening segment in all of sports media. This is where we put statistics next to our predictions and admit where we were wrong. Judd, when are you going to admit that you were wrong?
Right now I'm going to, and then I'm going to do it a second time. And that might cost me my job.
We'll see. We will have to see. There's a media accountability session coming here, and maybe even meatier on Purple Daily on our other daily show here. But yeah, this is Write That Down. Every single week we go back years and years with our prediction archive. There are things in our archive that have been predicted 5, 6, 7 years ago that have not yet come off the board. Probably because we've failed to put end dates on some of the early predictions. And so, like, Johnny Manziel will star in a reality show before he returns to the NFL is still on the board from 5 years ago. But here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to be guest participants and take your swings, like our OG friend from way back, Mackie and Judd, Royce and Mackie listener days on 1500 ESPN, Justin in Rochester is about to be. You can send us a message through the SKOR North app, and we'll get you scheduled for some time before the end of the year. So, all right, you guys ready to be held accountable?
I think so.
So Declan's been dominating the batting average race throughout most of the 2022 calendar year. Mm-hmm. So you're, the pressure is on you to keep out front here.
Uh-oh.
And little did you know that former multi-time batting champion Judd Zulgad was about to come racing down the backstretch here once the fall season hit.
Here we go.
So, Judd, you had one incorrect one come off the board. You did say in the season opener the Vikings would muff at least one punt. I don't think Jalen Reagor muffed a punt in that game, if I remember correctly.
Nope. Fair caught one and actually broke away from a tackle on one.
Yeah.
7 yards, I think.
So you were wrong about that, but
Yep, I was.
You said the Gophers would cover the spread against Western Illinois. Would they win like 62-10 or something ridiculous?
Yes.
Yeah. Then you said, this is a home run here. You said Scott Frost will be dismissed during the season. I think it was trending that way, but to do it during the season is very specific. And not only did they fire him during the season, they fired him 2 weeks before it would have been $7 million cheaper to fire him because they just didn't think keeping him around for 2 more weeks was doable. So Scott Frost gone. By the way, last night, so I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona, just hanging out with my dad. And I went to dinner with some family friends last night, and some of their friends were there. We all went and got pizza, and there was 2 diehard Nebraska football fans at this pizza place at our table, and I was just like, man, what happened with Scott Frost? They said we thought he was the perfect hire. He went 13-0 at Central Florida, and he's as Nebraska football as you could possibly be, but just turned out to be a total buffoon. So good for the Gophers for being able to pound on Nebraska some more in the future. You also said, Judd, the Vikings would win their 2022 season opener before, I think it was even before the schedule came out. So
Dang.
You got that one right. And you said Chris Archer will make at least 2 trips to the injured list in 2022, and he is on the injured list now for the second time. What a week. 4 for 5 for Judd, man.
That's a very nice week. I will take that. I will not be fired by the bosses for that. Dan Seaman will not be informing me I'm done. Oh, look
Old
at this.
Macadac had a nice little week, too, here. He said the Twins would use at least 7 different relief pitchers in that doubleheader against the Yankees. I think they used 6 in the first game, so we came off the board easily.
Louis Varland, man.
And then I told you, I forgot about this prediction. I told you guys long ago that Justin Jefferson would go for at least 2 touchdowns and at least 150 receiving yards in week 1 against the Packers. See ya. That's a 490-foot blast to the third deck in left field. I literally don't remember. I must have blacked out with like Vikings Kool-Aid drunkenness or something. I don't remember making that prediction.
That's a CJ Crone-like shot from last week.
Yeah, CJ Crone. All right, listeners had a lot of things come off the board here. Little mixed bag. We'll start with the bad. Nick said Adrian Peterson will knock out Le'Veon Bell.
Nope.
Yeah, you had the knockout part right, but it was Le'Veon that planted Adrian Peterson. Drew, you said this was a Judd prediction, that Judd will have the Vikings at 9 wins exactly the next time we pick the schedule. He had him at 10 wins. So optimism.
Thank you very much,
Judd. Kyle said before the start of the season, 3 Vikings players currently on the 90-man roster will be placed on injured reserve. I might be wrong on this, but I don't
think so.
I don't think they got to 3.
No. BC.
They waived a couple with like designated injury waivings, but I don't think they got to 3 on this.
No.
I have to look.
Either. Yep.
I guess we could just Google Vikings injured. Let me just Google real quick here. I might have just done this before the show started, but here we are. Okay, if we Google Vikings injured reserve. Okay, this is riveting podcast.
I was going to say,
right
people
now.
are like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest ever."
Yeah, it's
This
great.
is-
I don't want to waste.
We'll investigate afterwards, and we'll put it back on the board.
John Harrison said at least 2. Our old producer said at least 2 professional teams in America will fold because of the coronavirus pandemic. I think we're far enough out now where that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
We're
that.
okay.
I think that would have happened like a year or 2 ago. So we'll let's see here. BC Johnson injured reserve. Thomas Hennigan injured reserve. And then Kenny Willekes injured reserve.
So
technically this is correct. Let's give Kyle the
We'll
point
ding
on
him.
that. Yeah, we're all kind of remote here today, so we don't have our normal.
I don't have the ding. I never have the ding. Okay,
know.
let's
can
just
ding-
call a spade a spade.
You just call for it when it's.
I don't have the ding.
Call for it. Yeah.
I've not been given. I've not been trusted with any technology in this show.
We had a program director one time, like this. It was like the first 6 or 9 months of the Mackey and Judd radio show back in the day, and he brought us in one day. We used to alternate kind of back and forth. Like, all right, you sit at the button bar and lead on these days, and then I'll do it on these days. And he said, "So what do you get? What kind of goes into the thought process for that?" We're like, "Oh, we just kind of like to share the ball. It's a share the ball show." And he said, "How about Mackey just runs the button bar?"
Yeah, I was stripped of the button bar. I was stripped of the button bar. Play calling was taken away from me. It's very upsetting.
It's hilarious. All right, and then the good news here for the listeners, Stewart said at least 3 Vikings players will make their NFL debuts in Week 1, and at least 3 did, for sure. Like Asamoah did, a bunch of them did.
It was like 5 guys. Yeah.
Yep. And then Drew, I think this is a home run here. Drew said the Vikings will beat the Vikings will beat the Packers by at least 7. And parlay, Justin Jefferson will have at least 100 receiving yards. So nice little parlay there for Drew. This is also, so we got an email here from, we don't usually take additional write that down predictions from listeners that aren't on the show, because otherwise we used to do this like 6 years ago. If you just email us your predictions, it was like, okay, we got 100 every week. So, but we're going to make an exception here for Tom G. So his mom passed away last week on Write That Down Wednesday. Huge Gopher hockey fan. And in her memory, Tom asks, could we get a bonus listener write that down? Yes, Tom. We will make an exception because we celebrate dead parents on the show.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So write this down. He says, the Gophers men's hockey team will win the next NCAA Frozen Four title.
Nice.
Absolutely.
They should. They're like second in the nation in the first preseason polls.
It's time. It's been 20 years,
time.
for God's sakes.
Come on, Bob.
Gopher
Couldn't
hockey.
do it with St. Cloud, so let's go do it with U of M, huh? That'd be great.
Let's make it happen. And Dex, just for your bookkeeping, I did throw that in the master. So
okay. Cool.
It's already in there. And then, Declan, you had 3 things come off the board here. Parlay, you said all the road teams would win primetime games, the Bills, Bucks, and Broncos. And as you were making that prediction, you were like, I mean, the Broncos.
Broncos will be
for
fine.
sure. They weren't.
I want to kick Nathaniel Hackett in the groin. Yeah, like, just come on, dude. Not only in this one, he also cost me money on Underdog Fantasy. So I got bones to pick. And sneak preview, by the way, old tweets exposed. All 3 of us were pretty bullish on Nathaniel Hackett about 6-8 months ago. So get ready for that tomorrow.
Oh, man. So, yeah, last night we stole your segment on Trenches with Boone. Now it's called Macadac Wants Someone's Ass Fired.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett, come on down last night. Dude, one game. What are you doing, guy?
Yeah,
and then he
but
doubled
that's-
down after the game, too. He's like, I would kick it all over again. Bro, only twice in NFL history has someone made that field goal.
Yeah, that was.
And then he came back on Tuesday and apologized and was like, "I shouldn't have done. We should have gone for it on fourth." So, like,
Are you
this
serious?
Yeah, this is not. This is a terrible start.
What?
Plus, defensively, they look terrible.
Yeah, that was supposed to be.
They
bread and butter.
fumbled twice at the goal line. Like that. That's an entire cluster bleep right there. George Payton has to be a little bit concerned right now.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'd be like, this guy might be a train wreck.
And Declan, you said the Twins would sweep their Wednesday doubleheader against the Yankees. You got the sweep Wednesday doubleheader part of this prediction right. So
just the wrong first and second word. Yeah.
And then you said correctly that there would be no more than 10 accepted penalties in the Vikings-Packers game. There were fewer than 10, so you did get that one correct. Declan, with a 463 average and 13 home runs, both still leading the league. But Judd climbs to 386 with 8 home runs. I'm at 306 with 11 bombs. Listeners at 284 with 11 bombs. So there you have it.
Very nice.
Objects in the mirror.
All right. There's your accountability. Let's get our guy in here. Justin in Rochester. Justin, you and I have drank beers together. You have been a loyal listener of everything we've done well before we were these YouTube clowns. And so welcome back to the Mackey and Judd show, sir.
Appreciate it. How are you guys doing this morning?
Well, I think we're happy that the Vikings look competent. You know.
Yes, exactly.
And the Gophers too.
Skyma, row the boat.
Oh, the Big Ten West. I love the Big Ten West. Thanks, Iowa. Thanks, Wisconsin.
Dude, Iowa
If
has
they
scored.
don't get it this year, then there's never any hope for ever winning the Big Ten West.
That's 100.
Honestly.
That's 100% correct. That's exactly what I keep saying.
Iowa has scored 1 touchdown so far this season. I think they've scored 10 offensive points because the 2 safeties don't count. So go at least beat Iowa. So, all right, let's get into it here. We're going to go around the room 3 different times. We're going to start with Justin in Rochester. You know the rules. They just must be quantifiable predictions. Justin in Rochester, Judd, Declan, and then back to myself. And this first prediction by Justin in Rochester is presented by our friends at Livia Weight Control Centers.
Hey, I've been spieling for a long time about the fact that I dropped 40 pounds. I'm keeping that weight off. It's fantastic. But Justin told us before we started here, hold on a second, throw it to me. Let me run with the football. So, Justin, what have my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers done for you? Because I'd like to hear that story.
Here comes Justin on a jet sweep to take the football right now in KOC's offense. Yeah.
He's orbiting.
Well,
Go ahead.
Since the end of April, down 40 pounds. And like you have said, it's not just about losing it, it's also about keeping it off. And if buffoons like me can follow a program like this, it's got to be pretty simple. And as Judd has said many times, the team helps you. That you meet with them every so often, talk to them on the phone to just check in to make sure that you're still doing things right. And, I have to say that Judd's not just making this up, and it's just awesome.
That's awesome,
That's
man.
awesome, dude. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
And now you're saying, hold on a second. So the 2 guys on the bottom of this screen, these 2, as Justin said, buffoons, have lost all this weight. I want to join the club. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's how. 8 weeks for free. By the way, so 8 weeks for free to lose a ton of weight, and then it starts. All those clothes, as Justin can tell you, will fit. It feels great. 855-GO LIVEA, Livia, LIVEA.com. That is the beginning to a great end, which, again, will have you being in clothes that hadn't fit for a long time, feeling great. If you don't take it from me, take it from Justin. Livia works.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's jump into it here. We'll start with Justin in Rochester. Your first prediction, sir.
Well, these are all going to be Viking predictions, and we're going to kind of emulate the late Denny Green era from 96, as well as a little Chili era in 2009. Write this down. From now until the Vikings bye week, so again, 5 more games, Kirk Cousins will have 13 touchdowns. However, the caveat is at least one of them cannot be passing. So it can be rushing, a la Dante Culpepper. It could be a la Brad Johnson, a tip ball pass where he gets a receiving, or by some stretch of the imagination, just to cover everything, fumble recovery in the end zone would count also. So I think I got them all.
Are we going at least 13, or are you looking to stick the post here with exactly 13?
I'm saying at least 13 with one not being passing. That's got to be at least a double, in my opinion. You can decide if it's a home run or not.
Like it.
Yeah, I think it'd be an average of like 2.5 a game. I think it's a good solid ringing double for sure. especially because we've already kind of seen what this offense can do. So he should get off to a pretty good start. All right, over to Judd for your first prediction.
All right, since it worked last Saturday, I'm going to stick with it. Write this down. The Gophers will again cover the spread. Now, the spread that I found for the Colorado game this Saturday is 28.5 points. The Gophers will cover that spread. So for the third consecutive non-conference game, they won't just win, they will kick the butt of their inferior opponent, 28.5. They'll cover that.
Damn, dude. And that's a Pac-12 team, kind of.
Hey.
So it's a Power 5 team. The Colorado, man, they used to be respectable, and I don't know.
Oh, they used to be great. Their OC now, though, Mike Sanford, the incompetent OC from here. I got a feeling my next prediction might revolve around a quarterback who wants some revenge on a bad play.
Oh, well, I'll give you a go for one later, but let's start with Declan's first prediction.
Yeah, Major League Baseball prediction for me. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that Paul Goldschmidt and Aaron Judge are going to win the MVP awards. I mean, they're both the favorites. Goldschmidt by like a landslide. So I'm going to write this down. That Paul Goldschmidt and Aaron Judge will win their respective MVP awards, but Goldschmidt will be a unanimous choice for MVP.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put the caveat that he'll be the unanimous selection. I think Ohtani will still get like a fair share of votes, but Judge and Goldschmidt should probably be the MVPs most likely. But Goldschmidt will be unanimous MVP. I don't think that's been done in like 50 or 60 years either in the NFL. So it's been forever. Maybe Bonds. I think Bonds might have been.
Did Judge hit 2 more last night? Did I see?
Yes.
So 50. He's got 57 with like 3 weeks to go.
Yep.
Is there a chance? So he's gonna hit the Maris mark for sure for the American League record and the non-steroid record. Is there a half a chance he could get to 73?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, look at the way he's playing. It would be great if he just came in and hopefully clean, just put an end to the Barry Bonds, the Mark McGuire, you know. All right, write this down. Let me take a sip of my Gopher Kool-Aid here real quick. The Gophers, and I don't know when the last time this happened was. Maybe in the Glenn Mason era. This might have happened like once in the last 20 years, maybe not. But this season, the Gophers will beat both Iowa and Wisconsin. Write it down. And if that happens, you know, that Michigan State game is going to be tough. Penn State, not an easy game. But if they do that, I don't know how they don't win the division. I mean, they should win the division, period. But if they beat both of those teams, especially Wisconsin, it should be their ticket to win the division. So they're going to beat both Iowa and Wisconsin. I believe that's a home run because it never happens, even when we have good Gopher football teams. Yeah. So, all right, back to Justin in Rochester.
In 1998 and 1999, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Leroy, if you need 1, I'll get you 3. If you need 5, I'll get you 3. Horde became the first trio in NFL history to have touchdowns of 10 or more in 2 different seasons. Write this down. The Vikings, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen will have at least 10 or more touchdowns this season.
Love it. I love this. Wait, did you say Leroy Horde had 10 touchdowns in a season at one point?
Back-to-back seasons, 98 and 99. So that's how, again, the trio they were the first trio to ever have 2 different seasons. There have been other trios that, 2 out of the 3 were this year and 2 out of 3 were that year, but the first trio to have it 2 seasons.
Nice.
Judd, did you still play fantasy football in the late 90s?
Oh, my God, yeah.
How mad were Robert Smith owners that Leroy Horde would just come in and take all of his touchdowns?
Yes, very. Very.
Did Leroy Horde, was he like a high draft pick because he was getting 10 touchdowns?
I don't remember that. I don't think he was high, but I think you would. I think there was great consternation that Green wouldn't let Smith score his own touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a great fantasy player. He had 500 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns in 99, and he also, for PPR, he'd get you a catch a game, so you could lean on Leroy. Reliable. All right, Judd, what's your second prediction?
Okay, my follow-up prediction for the Gophers game on Saturday, as I said, Mike Sanford, who was the OC here at the last 2 years, and let's just say didn't do a great job. He's now the OC at Colorado. Kirk Soraka is back here. Write this down. Tanner Morgan will throw 3 or more touchdown passes on Saturday. Ooh. So the first 2 games against really crappy teams, the Gophers have been doing an outstanding job on the ground. Morgan's been good, but they haven't. I think they're going to try and rub this one in the face of a guy who basically thought that the Gophers were playing in 1932, and so
Well,
I
PJ
believe that
oversaw the whole thing. I mean, it's ultimately on PJ. more
yeah.
than it's on
But
Sam.
what I'm saying is Soraka and Morgan have a far better chemistry in play calling. So anyway, he's going to throw 3 or more touchdown passes Saturday.
They kind of unleashed him a little bit against Western Illinois. They could have just run the
Way
ball
more.
for 3 hours if they wanted to, but you can't just go cold into the Big Ten season not throwing the ball up and down. So I like what they did against Western Michigan or Western Illinois,
The Leathernecks.
whatever the hell directional school they played. I guess Western Michigan would be a big one for PJ. His old school. All right, Declan, what's your second prediction?
All right, I'll make a Thursday Night Football prediction. Chargers and Chiefs.
Chargers.
The Chargers versus Pat Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Going to be a blast. Chiefs beat the Chargers, and they will cover the spread, which is 4.5. So the Chiefs will beat the Chargers, and they will cover the 4.5 point spread.
How about that for a Thursday night game?
I know, it's great.
Is that the Amazon? That's the first
Yeah,
Amazon.
that's the
game.
first
Yeah.
prime game.
Two of the
Michaels
most
and Herb
dynamic
Street.
quarterbacks. Yes. Who else is on that? Don't they have like a panel? They hired a bunch of people, didn't they?
Yeah, Clarissa Thompson.
Kay
I think,
Adams.
is on it. Kay Adams.
No,
is
she
on
did.
it.
No, I think she actually went to that FanDuel network. So she's not. They got Richard Sherman. So like their studio show actually sounds intriguing. I think it might be good. But anyway, yes, this is their first game. And
When do you think they're going
it's
to
a good
finally shake up the Fox pregame show? You know,
Yeah, it's
Terry, Howie. I mean, it's been literally the same guys for
28.
27 years.
You know
or
what?
something.
Now I don't care now because I feel like to me the draw was like the breaking news stuff, right? But that stuff's immediately put on Twitter now.
Yeah.
So like the pregame shows to me have lost their potential luster. I just don't
Yeah,
care
but
about them
I
anymore.
like the routine though. I like to just. I'll flip on because NFL Network starts at like 3 a.m. or something. You just like
So
Rich
it's-
Eisen's just propped up with Kurt Warner and those guys. So I like to flip around. I don't know. Maybe I'm a Sunday morning football traditionalist.
You know
but
what you
I
are?
like
A
flipping around.
dinosaur. You're a damn dinosaur is what you are. You're getting old. Be careful.
I mean, I am saying it on YouTube, so there is at least a little balance here of new school, old school. All right, write this down. Adam Thielen will score his first touchdown of the season in Week 2 against the Eagles. I think the Eagles are probably going to do a little more than the Packers to try and take Justin Jefferson out of the game, so I don't think they're going to fully succeed, but it's going to open up some more avenues for Adam Thielen to score his first touchdown. And now we get back to Justin in Rochester for your third and final prediction.
So you guys are going to have to help me quantify this. In 2008, it was Adrian Peterson's team. We all know that. In 2009, it took Brett Favre a couple of weeks, but we all know at that point it became his team and that he was the straw that stirred the drink. Write this down. Kirk Cousins will lead the Vikings to an NFC championship game this season. He will be the straw that stirs the drink. Whether it's he has an MVP regular season or, he's the reason they win a wild card or division round of the game, he will be the straw that stirs the drink. And
Sounds
conversely,
to me
That's Carl Anthony Towns.
Sounds
right
to
there.
me like Justin
Hold
saying
on.
that Kirk Cousins will be the man.
Man.
no. Here's the caveat.
All right.
Here's the parlay. Kirk Cousins will be the reason the Vikings lose in the NFC Championship game as well. So he's
So
going to do a Brett.
that's the prediction then.
He's
Okay.
going to do a Brett Favre. He's going to elevate the team just to break our hearts and be the reason they lose.
Okay. So all like the lead up is impossible to quantify. But what you're saying is it's a parlay. They will get to the NFC Championship game. And unless you want to put like they'll get to the NFC Championship game and Kirk will have a top 5 QBR or something. It's up to you. And then
Okay.
he will turn the ball over in the second half of a 1-score game. Something
Exactly.
like that.
I mean, again, it was easy to quantify that Favre was the reason that team went to where it was. So, I mean, if it's got to have something on there, I'll just say top 7 in MVP voting or
Okay.
top 5 in QBR, something like that. I mean, you guys know what the spirit of that prediction is.
Yep. So let's say top. So I like that because how does the MVP voting work? Is it multiple? Like if you get can we just say he'll get an MVP vote or something? He'll get an MVP. He'll top 7 MVP vote, NFC Championship game, and then a turnover in the second half of a loss in the NFC Championship game. Is that fair?
Yep.
That's fair.
Okay. That keeps it broad enough, but put some parameters on it. Okay.
I love
So,
the
all right,
optimism until the end. Bang.
Just
It's the
that's
Vikings.
kind of
It's what they
football,
always
man.
do. Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Well, Justin, since you've got this life-altering, changing platform here on Mackie and Judd, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment besides Livia?
Well, too many to count. So I'll say you and Judd for meeting me, at Tom Pelissero's go away party, where you guys gave me a lot of advice as to how to, do this podcasting and sports talk thing. I want to thank you, Phil, for coming on the Purple Code a few weeks ago with Rick and Tyler. I have a show Monday evenings from 6:30 to 7:15 Central Time. You had my partner Mike Castellino on a few weeks ago. So he and I and one other person do a show from 6:30 to 7:15. So check us out on the Purple Code. But all seriousness aside, thank you guys for what you do. And, I know everybody said it and a million times through COVID and everything else that, you guys were kind of a relief for a lot of people.
Awesome, man. Justin, thanks for all your support over the years, and we'll definitely get you on again sometime, man.
By the way, okay, sorry. I couldn't help
By
myself.
the
There's
way.
one more thing.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
one more thing.
Thanks, Justin.
Also, I've got more scoops. We've got some
We
high
got
school
Booth
basketball.
Gotch is drawing interest with
You know what I
Patino.
you know what I took away from that entire thing? Livia actually works for everyone. That's what
Yes,
I took
dude.
away,
I
gentlemen.
love it, man.
That's awesome.
That was not a setup at all, by the way. He's like, hey, I lost a bunch of weight, so throw it to me. All right, let's round it out here. Judd, your third and final prediction.
Okay, my third and final prediction will be from the world of Major League Baseball. Terry Francona will be voted the American League Manager of the Year. Like, when you look at what that guy has done, and they got pitching, but they're a very young team. The division stinks, but for them, it's impressive. I think that the Guardians are going to win the American League Central. I think Terry Francona is your AL Manager of the Year.
All right.
I like it.
Okay, Tito. Do you think, off the record, Tito's going to try and get revenge on Rocco for checking, rightfully so, by the way. I agree with Rocco, checking that greasy-haired lights-out reliever guy, Karinchak, right?
Yeah.
But
James
Tito was
Karinchak.
furious about that.
Yes.
Do you think Tito will look to like a greasy Joe Ryan or somebody and get revenge?
I think he's got something up his sleeve for the 5 games that they're going to play against Cleveland, unless Cleveland continues to beat them, because the real revenge from that 3-game series was a sweep.
Yeah.
But I think if things start to go sideways for Cleveland in the 5 games against the Twins there next week, yes, I think he'll do something. But my God, when you come in here and take 6-0 leads, I think game 2 was 7 rips, something like that. You're probably getting all the revenge you need.
Twins playoff odds down to 6% now. They're 5 back. Even if they sweep 5 against Cleveland, they will only be even with them if series were to start today. But
all I know is I heard a team last night that is very confident about the fact they're still in this race.
good for them.
Yeah,
They disgust me now as well, and
despicable.
If and when they are finally put to bed, I think it'll be a long time before we talk Twins on this show again. Come on, guys. All right, anyways, Declan.
My final prediction, the Vikings will have the best point differential in the NFC after week 4. So right now I believe them and the Bucks are tied for the best point differential. Actually, the Bucks might be up by them by a point. But by the end of week 4 games, the Vikings will have the best point differential in the NFC. Write it down.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I'm going to give you – I feel very confident about Justin Herbert. I just think we talk about Josh Allen and we talk about Patrick Mahomes, rightfully so. I think, and I thought this last year, I think Herbert is on that trajectory to just be part of that group that we talk about for like the next 12 or 15 years. And so write this down. At the end of the regular season, Justin Herbert will have a top 3 QBR, according to ESPN. A top 3 QBR. So that's just the analytical passer rating that they have. So there it is. Those are your write that down predictions, your accountability session. The only show in America that has the guts, the courage, the cojones to put statistics next to our predictions here. Mackie and Judd. And we do it on Purple Daily football and Vikings-related predictions every week as well. Tomorrow, it's another Scoop and Reckless Speculation Thursday. on this show, and we count down the days until another Vikings game. Vikings Vent Line right after Vikings Eagles on Monday night on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. See you guys tomorrow.